Changing Expectations, written by KK Slider. Chapter 13, Cersei.
Today we will cover disguises.
Infiltrator Solite addressed the class. Finally. Apparently this part is really easy to changelings, so it's saved for the end, right before expeditions out begin for the Infiltrator class. Seems like allocating the least amount of time for the most important lesson to me, but considering it takes extra energy to maintain a disguise, the teacher probably just wants to make sure that no energy is wasted on changelings that cannot perform the rest of the required lessons. Case in point, the class had been reduced by a bit after that point. It started out with 22 changelings, and now it's down to 15. The class seemed easy enough to me, but then again, I was juggling it along with 5 or so other subjects every day. I was focused entirely on education, whereas most changelings had work or were unprepared for classwork.
First, you must feel your connection to the weave. Even outside of the hive, you have to understand on an intimate level how you are entwined into the great tapestry. The string, or thread as some say, of change must be known to you.
The Infiltrator was using the weave to help us feel the thread. I literally grasped onto the knowledge she was trying to give us and held onto it. Already, I felt heat building up in my horn. The changelings around me, the 5 members of my new inner circle, found the task of grasping the thread that much easier due to my efforts.
Now, your first disguise would be an earth pony with a black coat, white mane, green eyes, average build. The cutie mark will be a red question mark. Picture the pony with your mind's eye. Then, while still holding onto the string of change, push your mana through your horn.
I watched as many changelings vanished into a curtain of green flames that crept up their body. In their place were the disguised ponies. Focusing, I channeled the mana while picturing the disguise. I kept in mind the different lessons on body proportions, average mane length, and so on while creating my disguise. My vision was briefly obscured as orange flames rose up from my hooves and rapidly spread across my body, eventually covering my eyes. When the flames receded, I didn't feel any different. Lifting a hoof to inspect it revealed a dull black hoof rather than a glossy black hoof. I was covered in fur rather than chitin. Looking to my immediate class members, I saw the same pony disguises. We were all varied on height and muscle sizes, but for the most part, we looked like normal ponies. At least, I assume we do. I've never seen a pony. In just a few moments, there were no changelings left in the classroom. Slowly, Sir Light walked between each student, checking their disguises.
Your legs are too thin. Your eyes are still blue. Ponies don't have holes in their legs. How could you forget that?
Most changelings she passed by with no comment. As she passed by my area, she glared at Thorax's disguise.
Ponies have manes, not fins, Thorax.
Right. I remember that.
Thorax said, adjusting his disguise with more green flames.
You're too big, Eshadai. Most ponies are not that muscly, and you don't want to stick out.
After she checked all of our disguises, she returned to the front of the classroom and spoke loudly to the class.
Good. Now drop your disguises. To do this, grab back onto the string of change and channel mana without picturing a disguise. The raw mana will disrupt your current disguise. With practice, you will get a better feeling of just how much mana is needed to disrupt it.
A wave of green flames with a smaller island of orange ones washed across the room as each changeling discarded their disguises.
Next, I want you all to create your own disguise, complete with a cutie mark.
Oh no, originality, my one weakness.
And you need to get used to creating one under pressure. It's not always the case where you will have time to think out a clever disguise. You have 5 seconds.
Quickly, I pictured a tall pony with dark blue fur, a two-toned faded purple and light black mane and tail, and a cutie mark that was the Greek letter mu. No, Phasma. Don't make the obvious OC joke here. Once again, Infiltrator Slight walked between the changelings and judged our disguises. A hoofful didn't think of a disguise in time and stayed changelings after they were enveloped in green flames. A few had errors with their disguises still, but most accomplished the task just fine. Not one of us had bright colors for a coat. This time, Sir Light, disguised as a white Pegasus with a green mane and red question mark on her flanks, spoke to me as she passed.
Prince Phasma, your eyes are still orange. And ponies don't have run of scribbles for their disguise.
I blinked. I hastily fixed my mistake and imagined purple irises on my disguise, channeling again. With orange flames fixing my error, I said, "It's the letter mu, not scribbles." Sir Light looked at me questioningly, but did not press further. She moved on to the rest of the class behind me.
Now we will cover unicorn disguises. As you recall from earlier lessons, their horns possess a different shape than changeling horns. That's it for today. You will all receive a single extra portion of rations to make up for the energy loss. Don't let this privilege get to your heads. Next class we'll be combining lessons, so be prepared.
As class broke, my inner circle formed a hexagon. I mean, you could call it a circle, but there are 6 of us, and hexagons are cooler than circles. Lacewing and Coxa started rubbing their horns. Taking the form of a Pegasus had been especially tiring, with each changeling having to imagine each individual feather on both wings in order to get a complete disguise. You'd think she cut us nymphs some slack, Coxa whined.
Yeah, I could see why a lot of changelings usually don't pass this class.
Lacewing added. Tarsus shrugged.
Seems pretty easy to me.
That's because you have the monopole of an adult, Tarsus, I said while rolling my eyes.
Oh, and you're fine, Phasma?
I sighed. I am now. I have lessons after this, and I won't be fine after those.
You have more lessons? Don't you also have lessons before this class too?
Yeah. Lacewing shook her head.
I can't imagine that much classwork. When do you get to relax?
Coxa added. And what do you even do to relax? I absently rubbed my chin in thought. Well, I study?
That's not relaxing.
Eshadai pointed out. I sleep for a few hours each day.
That's not relaxing either.
I threw my hooves up with a shrug. Then I don't.
Prince Phasma.
Chamberlain Eucharis called from the doorway. You're here too early! Come back in 5 minutes! I yelled back to him. He responded by tapping his hoof impatiently. Damn it. Looks like I have to go already.
By the Great Weaver, I don't envy you, Phasma.
Thorax whispered. We don't get to choose our lots in life, for the good of the hive and all that. Coxa, Lacewing, Tarsus, and Thorax all raised their eyebrows at that last comment. Eshadai was too distracted by Lacewing's tail, which was slowly swishing back and forth. I stood up and walked over to the buzzkill. Chamberlain Eucharis, is there a reason you're especially on time today, or can you just not wait to see me?
I do enjoy our walks, my prince, but I am indeed here early for a reason. We are headed to the northeast main exit rather than the royal chambers.
I looked behind him, and sure enough, there were 4 royal guards waiting in the hallway. I'm leaving the hive? He nodded.
Yes. Today we will begin your flying lessons. We won't be going far, just sticking close to the hive.
I'm actually leaving the hive?
You already asked that, my prince.
Holy shit. I heard the clopping of hooves and looked to my right and saw Tarsus walking up.
Prince Phasma.
He began with my title.
I couldn't help but overhear. I'd like to come with you, if you would have me.
You may. Eucharis butted in.
Your Highness, these private lessons are
occurring at my discretion. I cut off Eucharis. If I say he can come, then he can. As we walked out of the hive with our escort, Chamberlain Eucharis was giving me the rundown on flying lessons.
Now, since you'll be exercising a whole new muscle group, what we're going to start with is simply buzzing your wings. First, move them out of your wing coverings, your elytra.
I moved my elytra up and out of the way, and my unused wings rose partially from my back.
Good, my prince. Now comes the hard part. You have to vibrate your wings.
That I could not do. Moving a leg was as easy as moving my leg or arm as a human. Adjusting my elytra was as easy as moving my shoulder around. Moving my wings on the other hoof was another matter entirely. On the other hand, how many of these have I missed? Tarsus seemed to notice my struggles and used his magic to lightly push my wings up and down. Oh, that feels so weird. Tarsus stopped pushing on my wings now that I felt the alien muscle group. I gave him a nod of thanks and focused on my wings. I imagined the muscles twitching, focusing on where I felt Tarsus's movement meet my back. Thankfully, it was just that easy to get them to twitch on their own.
Well done. Keep getting them to twitch, getting faster and faster until the wings start buzzing.
Vibrating a part of my body took practice, so much so that by the time I actually managed to move my wings at a speed above a grandma's slow trudging, we had reached the exit of the hive. It was a large pair of doors made of a solid black stone material. They were covered in etchings similar to the pair of doors to the throne room, which I had by this point learned was the changeling creation myth, with the doors being mirror images of each other. Each door had a changeling on the outer edge of the door, reaching towards the upper, inner corner. From said corner, a tapering tendril extended down to the center of the bottom edge of the door. The tendril seemed to have twists and turns within itself, seemingly at random. It was the first changeling grasping onto the strings of together. Deja vu. These changelings are very good at replicating art. The only difference I could see between this set of doors and the throne room doors was that the throne room doors were painted. No, there was a dream. Eucharis ordered the guards at the gate to open the way. The guard on the left moved to a horizontal wheel I neglected to notice and started pushing it. The door slowly creaked and swung outwards. Sunlight from a setting sun blinded my eyes, which had been accustomed to the dark of the hive. Every damn time I walk through the Great Hall, this shit happens.
Come, my prince. It is time for you to fly.
Eucharis had stepped through the door before they finished opening, the guard retinue and Tarsus sticking by me. And so I stepped out of the hive for the first time in my life. Changing Expectations, written by KK Slider. Chapter 14, Icarus. It was a cool day out in the drylands. I took in the sights. The ground was rocky and unsurprisingly dry with not a blade of grass in sight. In the distance, mesas rose up from the uneven ground. For miles around the hive, there was nothing. Not a hill, not a tree, not even a Starbucks. We were far from civilization. The sky was clear, yellows, oranges, and pinks being painted across the blue canvas by a hidden setting sun. The sun was setting mostly behind the hive, casting a shadow over the plains in front of us. The hive itself was a towering, dark structure, its details hidden by the contrast of the light.
Now we have some room to breathe,
Eucharis said, drawing my attention back to the ground. He had stopped about 30 paces out in front of the entrance, and had turned around to face me. I walked up and stopped in front of him.
Let's begin. Our changeling wings give us far more maneuverability than Pegasus' orchestral wings. We can hover, move sideways, Directly up and down, you name it. They may have us beat on speed and gliding, but we are far more nimble. I want you to vibrate your wings as fast as you can.
With my wings already out of their hardened housings, I tried to make them vibrate. They beat at a respectable speed, but far from what you would consider a vibration.
You'd have to let go and let the wings move themselves.
Tarsus and the guards watched from near the entrance as I worked up a sweat, moving my thin insectoid wings as fast as I could.
Faster, and stop flapping them manually. You have to let your body do the work.
I relaxed my control over my wings, and their beats slowed down. But they're still moving.
Very good, Your Highness. Now, imagine yourself lifting off the ground. Yes!
I looked down and saw my hooves were wobbling above the ground rather than planted firmly on it. My movement of looking down caused me to tilt forward, and I saw the ground rush up to meet me. My chitin protected me from collecting any scrapes, which would have been my only injuries from the no-speed impact of hitting the ground. Still, it was embarrassing. Chamberlain Eucharis walked up to my side.
Why do we fall, Prince Phasma?
Because gravity pulls us downwards.
I responded, stating the obvious. I flipped myself over and got back onto my hooves.
We fall so...
I know, Eucharis. I know.
I looked at my back and saw my wings were extended once more. The fall hadn't damaged their fragile structure. Once more, I vibrated them and started to lift off the ground. I fell 4 more times before I got more than 5 feet off the ground. Being so close the first few times, I quickly learned how to recover my wings using my elytra before hitting the surface. That is a valuable skill all changelings learn with little inputs from their tutors. Apparently, it was just a natural reaction to abort flying. Eucharis rose off the ground to meet me at eye level. Before he could tell me the next lesson, I heard a buzz behind me.
Yo, Prince Phasma! You're doing far better than I did when I first started flying. You're taking this like flies to shit.
Next, Prince Phasma.
Eucharis glared at Tarsus.
It is time to do more than hover.
So no shit, there I was, 50 feet off the ground as a royal insect horse on another world. I slowly buzzed around a few of the lower hive spires that were jutting out from the base of the hive superstructure. Despite how tired I was becoming due to the constant work, I was enjoying myself. Eucharis was flying next to me, giving me points on how to adjust my momentum and center of mass. It had only taken an hour, but I could fly without hitting the closest object in sight, usually the ground right beneath me. Tarsus was flying a bit back, but with Eucharis right next to me, we kept our conversations very limited. Now the sun had dipped below the horizon, the last few rays staining the dark sky yellow.
All right, my prince, it's time to turn in.
The night is still young, Wow! Eucharis?
I dodged a massive spire that had come out of nowhere. Well, I flew in a straight line at it, but it's not my fault they built it there. Seeing that he was right, I adjusted my slow, bumbling course and headed back for the entrance, wobbling as I came in for a landing. Behind me, 2 guards landed a distance back. They had never left me out of their sight or further than 50 hooves. Feet! Away from them. Tarsus landed closer.
That was slow, but still fun, Prince Phasma. If you can't get some time to play hoofball, then we should definitely go flying.
With my flying lessons, that just might be more doable.
It's time to head back up, Your Highness.
Eucharis motioned towards the hive entrance. We talked as we walked, the guard retinue and Tarsus filing in behind us.
As easy as it is for most of us,
Tarsus broke the silence from behind.
I know some changelings that struggle with flying. It just doesn't come as easy to them.
This is the first time I'm hearing of that, though I'm not surprised.
I explained. Flying really is something else, something tiring and painful.
There should be some classes available to the drones of the hive. Not all of us have a private tutor, you know. I mean, my prince.
Eucharis looked back at Tarsus with a neutral expression before turning back forward.
I'm sure that while a few changelings may benefit from such a expenditure, it'll be a waste of valuable time for our more experienced flyers.
It's an idea to consider, at least.
Tarsus grumbled.
And I will. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Tarsus.
I softly told him. We walked on in silence until we had passed the usual turn-off point for the infiltrator classroom. My back was really starting to sting at this point.
This is where we part ways, my prince.
Tarsus spoke up from behind me. I turned to give him a smile.
Thank you, Tarsus, for your company. I will see you and the rest of the class tomorrow.
Our retinue continued without him up the hive.
You're becoming close with this Tarsus classmate of yours.
Ichar said in a low voice.
I would advise caution, my prince.
Not every Ling has an agenda, Chamberlain. You need to calm down and take a step back.
My prince, he just spoke to you and suggested how to run the hive. That's not something to be shaken off. He uses your companionship to whisper into your ear.
Icharis, Tarsus is just looking out for what's best for the hive. He has no secret agenda to push.
You are making bold assumptions, my prince.
Enough!
I was tired. My back was starting to hurt, and a part of me sticking off my back was definitely hurting. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, or any night for that matter. Fuck. I'm treading dangerous waters here. Tone it back. I sighed, putting a hoof to my head while walking forward.
My apologies, Chamberlain. I know you're looking out for my best interests, but I'm just tired. There's no magic lessons after this, are there?
No, my prince.
Thank the Weaver for small miracles.
When we reached the royal wing, I continued into my room while Yachar stayed in the hall. I shut the door behind me and flopped into my bed. Too tired to study, too hungry too. Normally after magic lessons, Officer Katydid had a meal for us to eat together. It was a short, brief thing, consisting of just a love gel, but it was nice enough. Still, some extra time to myself was nothing to scoff at, and I took the extra hours of sleep. A loud noise jerked me awake.
What? What was it?
I flipped over to face the door and saw Queen Chrysalis looking down at me. My body still ached from last night's lessons.
Mother, I can't recall the last time you've woken me for lessons personally.
I said as my brain rebooted. She chuckled.
You have not been asleep that long, Prince Phasma. It is still night.
I blinked the crust from my eyes and looked at her.
Night?
Chrysalis nodded.
Yes. The Chamberlain has informed me that your disguising and flying lessons have gone well today.
I sat up, facing her.
Yes, Mother.
Show me a disguise.
Oh, come on! Suppressing a sigh, I hopped off the bed and stood in front of Chrysalis, ignoring the protest from my body. I pictured a pony in my mind. Unicorn, white coat, blue mane and tail, horseshoe cutie mark. Orange flames covered me as I channeled magic. With my disguise in place, she paced around me. My horn started to sting from the overuse.
Acceptable. Now, who am I looking at?
Figured this is what Infiltrator Selite was talking about when she said combining lessons. Thankfully, I am prepared.
I am Big Iron.
I said in a voice that was deeper than my own, and with a rougher accent.
I am a blacksmith from Lower Canterlot.
She stops in front of me.
And what do you do for a living, Big Iron?
My stomach growled.
I just said, ma'am, I'm a blacksmith. I forge bits and pieces made to order.
Chrysalis leaned in close.
And what is your opinion on the upcoming Summer Sun celebration, Big Iron?
The fuck is that?
Well, the celebration itself don't bring me business, but the pain does do damage that customers are fixing to have fixed.
She didn't move away from my face.
No, I want to know your opinion on the Sun Princess herself, Big Iron.
Chrysalis is really drilling me here. Damn it, woman. Give me a break. I just woke up.
I do think highly of our dear princess, ma'am. Where would we be without her raising the sun every morning and her guard protecting us and whatnot?
Chrysalis finally leaned back. She still glared at me, though.
Acceptable.
She repeated her mediocre praise after a moment.
Dispel.
I dispelled the disguise, my horn now flaring in pain.
You did well for a first disguise, but well would not be good enough. Canterlot's citizens do not have as thick of an accent as you put on. Your disguise would not hold up to scrutiny. Still, you did admirably, Prince Phasma. Your classmates have received extra portions in their meals to offset their increased activities. Do not think I've forgotten you, my prince.
I tilted my head at that. She looked behind her and brought over a sealed pot. My stomach started to hurt at the sight.
Oh, yes. If there's a catch to this, then future me can pay it.
This is a bit stale, but you won't mind.
I already can hear the whispers of the sweet sucker.
Thank you, Mother,
I said, swallowing saliva. My jaw started shivering.
I am most grateful.
As I took the jar of my magic and popped it open, Chrysalis continued to address me.
You have done as well as is expected of you in your infiltrator class.
I barely caught the next statement. I was so involved in consuming every last wisp of love from the jar.
But I'm afraid you will be too busy to attend the traditional expedition to Equestria with the rest of your class.
Oh, wait, what?
Mother?
Prince Phasma said in a stuttering voice.
It's always adorable to watch him eat.
Queen Chrysalis thought to herself.
Just keep it up, little prince, and you will have all the love you desire once we conquer Equestria. You still have lessons with me, Prince Phasma. There is no time to go gallivanting about, playing with your prey.
Phasma swayed slowly from side to side as he spoke.
I was under the impression that I was with the class specifically for the expedition.
She sneered.
Then you had the wrong impression. You were in the class to reaffirm your lessons. You don't need to know the truth. And don't think I don't know about your friends, young prince. Tomorrow, your lessons will cover the dangers of outside opinions.
Chrysalis steered the conversation away from the infiltrator class. She watched as Phasma blinked slowly and shuffled his hooves in a slower state of mind.
Yes, Prince Phasma. I am always watching.
But it was Chrysalis's turn to be surprised when Phasma asked her a question she, quite frankly, didn't expect.
Mother? Who's my dad?
Where did this come from? I am all that matters, Phasma. I suppose I should have expected this question. Did it slip out now that he's unguarded of mind? I could train him to be used to the feeling of love so that he is not so weak when consuming it. But I think I'll have him keep that particular vice.
The prince mumbled something in response as Queen Chrysalis backed out of his room and closed the door.
That nymph vexes me.